A lot of you guys are struggling with aim and FPS in Rainbow Six Mobile, so today I'll be showing you guys the best settings for aim and FPS in Rainbow Six Mobile. These settings will help you improve your responsiveness, smoothness, and accuracy so you can consistently win your fights.
Huge thanks to Rainbow Six for sponsoring today's video.
Alright guys, without wasting any more time, let's go into the settings. As you can see here, the first tab is touch controls. First off, I'm just going to open my layout so you guys can take a look at it. You can take a screenshot. You can see my crouch and changing stance button is up here. My scope is here. My fire button is here. Yeah, this is basically simple, but make sure that you keep this place empty so you can easily rotate your screen. Next up, we have the left double tap effect. As you can see, I set this to no double action, also for the right double tap effect. Now, what does this do? As you can see on your screen here, there are edges over here, edge tap zone, and you can see a double tap zone over here and also an edge tap zone here. So anytime you tap any of these zones, this is the one for the right and this is the one for the left, something is gonna happen. You can literally set it to different instructions, but I would advise you not to do this as it would randomly keep doing random stuff, so like melee attack and pinging and aim down sights. So you definitely don't want that, okay? And then next up, we have ADS button behavior. If you're using 3 fingers and your scope is placed up like mine over here, then set that to hold. And also, if you're using 4 fingers and above, obviously you should be using hold on this. If you're using 2 fingers, you should definitely set this to toggle. I believe 2 fingers don't have their scopes up. Next up, we have buttons allow camera rotation. For Rainbow Six Mobile, I set all of this on. Normally I do not set it on as I am a gyroscope player, but you definitely want this on because what this does is that when you're opening your scope, you can literally swipe on your screen on literally any button. As you can see, buttons allow camera rotation, so literally any button in the game is gonna allow you to rotate your screen. And as you can see, your ADS button allows, so basically when you tap the ADS button, it's gonna allow you to rotate your screen. I do not use ADS fire button, but I still left it on. I'm just gonna switch it out for myself, but if you use ADS fire button, definitely turn this on. Anyway, show sprint lock, I'm gonna turn this off. What this does is that it's gonna keep you automatically sprinting even after you leave your joystick, unless you pull back your joystick, and then it's gonna stop you from sprinting. I don't want this because Rainbow Six is a very tactical game and you want to be gradually moving instead of just automatically running into enemies line of sight. Next up, we have lock joystick in place. I would advise you to turn this off because sometimes you might accidentally tap around here, but because your joystick is down here, you're not able to move quickly and that will get you killed. So I advise you to leave that off. Next is display vault button behavior. I will tell you to leave this on because if you leave it to contextual only, you're literally going to be climbing over literally anything, and if you leave this off, you're not going to be able to vault over anything. So definitely leave this at always on. Equipping gadgets, exit, sprint lock, turn this off. What this does is that anytime you equip a gadget in your hand, your sprinting is automatically going to stop. So even though you're controlling your sprinting yourself, the moment you hold a grenade in your hand, you're automatically going to stop sprinting, which I don't think makes any sense. Next up, we have display alternate fire button. I'm going to leave this on as it helps me to have 2 fire buttons on my screen. As you can see over here, this is the left button over here and this is the right one. I haven't turned off ADS to shoot button, but if I turn it off, it's also gonna appear like this. I just felt like this one could be increased to literally any size and it could get like very big, so there was no need to double it. I'm just gonna leave that on in case I decide to change my mind. I would advise you to leave it on if you're using aim down sight button. And also, if you want to set this on only while aiming down sight, meaning that anytime you open your scope, that is only when the second fire button is gonna appear. Just leave this on. It's easier and you're not gonna make mistakes. ADS fire button behavior, this is what it should be set at. And your button, look at this button down here, it's literally gonna be hip fire. So anytime I tap on this button, it's gonna hip fire unless I open my scope. And yeah, that's perfect for me because I literally don't use ADS to fire button. But for people like you guys, please select shoot during ADS transition. If you use ADS fire button, select this. Do not select shoot after ADS transition. What this is going to do is that anytime you open your scope, it's going to wait for you to fully open your scope before even 1 bullet can leave your gun. And if you have slow ADS, that is literally going to kill you. So do not set that. And then lean button behavior, I set this to hold because my buttons are over here. And also, it's not going to leave me stuck in peak position. So that way I can like jiggle back and forth when I am behind cover. So don't set this to toggle, just set this to hold. And also lean behavior, I set this to slider, meaning that you can literally just slide the peak button and then it's just gonna peak for you, you know, left or right. If you tap this one, you can literally slide it to the left and it's automatically gonna peak to the left. So yeah, that's basically what it does. It just makes things easier, so I advise you to leave it on slide only. If you put it on slide and lock, it's gonna slide over there and then it's gonna lock you in that position, so you do not want that. Okay, it's literally like toggle. So yeah, select slider only for lean slider behavior. Invert lean slider, turn this off. This, whenever you peek right, it's gonna peek left, and whenever you peek left, it's gonna peek right. So you do not want that. You want to be peeking to the right position that you want to peek. So set this at off. Lean slider lock threshold, just set this at 30. Do not set any delay, so this should be at 0. And then next to the gameplay settings, ADS auto shoot behavior, please do not turn this on. What this does is that it's gonna automatically shoot at an enemy. Sometimes you don't want to shoot at an enemy's body and you just want to like go straight for the head when you've caught the enemy off guard. But what this is going to do is that even though it is the person's toes, it is going to shoot at the person. So you want this off. You want to manually shoot by yourself. And then for hip fire auto shoot behavior, it goes the same way. Turn this off. Aim assist, definitely turn this on. I think it's going to help a lot. I've not really noticed any strong aim assist in the game, but yeah, I haven't tried to turn it off at all. So yeah, just leave it on. As for auto vault while sprinting, turn this off. Auto swap weapons on empty, turn this on. What this does is that anytime you're out of ammo, it's automatically gonna switch to your second weapon, so leave that on. Reload always exit ADS, I want this off because anytime I'm shooting and I want to reload quickly, I want my ADS to be open in case I want to be looking at a far location. So yeah, I leave this off and I will be able to reload and ADS at the same time. Sprint always exits ADS. What this does is that anytime you're sprinting or anytime you're moving forward, you cannot ADS. You don't want this on because yo, Rainbow Six is a game where almost 90% of the time someone is with their scope open, so you definitely want your scope to be open as always. You don't want sprints to exit it or reload to exit it, so just leave this to off. And then sprint always exits crouch, turn this off. If you're crouching and then you sprint, it's literally gonna make you stand up automatically. You do not want that. Sprint always exits prone, the same thing, turn it off. Manual rappel exit, what this does is that anytime you get close to a window, you're gonna manually jump into the room when you're with a rope. Okay, you don't want this on off because if you leave this off, it's gonna automatically throw you into the room, and what if an enemy is in that room? You're not gonna have the chance to check the corners and all of that. So leave this on because you want to be checking the corners by yourself before just jumping into a room. Okay, and then as for lean inputs behavior, I set this to lean only. I don't want my scope to be opening every single time that I lean. Sometimes I want to lean and throw a nade, but when I lean, it's now gonna open my scope, which I do not want. As for exiting ADS always cancels lean, turn this on. This is very important because anytime you're scoping in and then you're leaning, if you stop scoping in, it's automatically gonna stop you from leaning. It's very good because you don't want to stop scoping in and then your head is still outside there and an enemy shoots you. You definitely don't want that. So turn this on. And then cancel lean always exit ADS, you want this off. What this does is that anytime you stop leaning, your scope is gonna cancel. You don't want anything to cancel your scope in Rainbow Six, no matter what. Keep that in mind, guys. As for weapon gadget inputs, set this to hybrid. Just these three, set it to hybrid. What this does is that anytime you tap on your weapon gadget, it's automatically gonna hold it to your hand, but if you hold on the button, it's gonna wait for you to release the button and it's automatically gonna do that stuff. So I like to leave this on hybrid because sometimes I want to like quickly throw a nade, so I just hold my button and then release the nade automatically. So it goes the same for all of them. I hope you guys understand. You can literally expand it over here and yeah, just take a screenshot and read it. But it's very straightforward. Anyway, as for the rest of this, make sure to leave it on shoot on button press because these are for guns. Okay, you do not want to hold your gun and then release the button before you can shoot. You want immediately you tap your shoot button, it's gonna shoot. And then as for drone movement snooping, set this to freeform. You do not want any of those 45 or 90 degrees because it's gonna like make you feel sticky. So set this on freeform. Drone jump preview, you want to set this on button press because if it is only when stopped, meaning that you can't jump with your drone unless you have literally stopped moving, which you don't want because sometimes an enemy is gonna be trying to like shoot your drone and you want to be jumping and dodging their bullets all around, you know. And then as for drone jump input, you want to set this on button release. What this is gonna do is it's gonna show you a trajectory to where you're jumping, so that way you can literally target where you want to jump next instead of just automatically jumping into random places. And then stay in drone view when prep phase ends. You want to turn this off. This automatically gonna gonna bring it back to your character when preparation phase is over. So yeah, just leave this off. Sometimes I like to be in the drone, so you can leave this on or you could turn it off, you know. But yeah, I think I'm gonna turn this on. I think it's gonna be useful. I want to be exiting the drone by myself instead of the game doing it for me, you know. I love to manually do stuff myself. Do not enter drone view after throwing. I actually had this on off, but you want to have it on. What this is gonna do is that anytime you throw your drone, it's not gonna automatically put in the camera of the drone. What it's gonna do is that it's gonna allow you to throw the drone. The drone is just gonna be there, and then you can adjust your position to hide better and then go into the camera mode. And then as for gadget specific, I'm not gonna explain much. Just copy everything the way it is. Trust me guys, this is the best settings that you want for this. And as for my gyroscope controls, for the people who use gyroscope, just copy everything here, you know. It's perfect. Trust me guys, it's perfect. As you can see, my aim is absolutely beautiful in this place. So yeah, just set it the way it is and then try adjusting it bit by bit. You can literally be going one up, and yeah, but make sure that your horizontal and vertical sensitivity are the same at all times. Just make sure that it is always the same value. So yeah, just take a screenshot, pause the video and copy all of this. And then as for my swipe sensitivity, this is for people that do not use gyroscope. I don't know, but this is perfect for me. But I would advise you, if you do not play with gyroscope, please do not copy this, okay? Go look for a content creator that plays without gyroscope. Someone like iOS, I think he plays without gyroscope. So yeah, go copy those guys' sensitivity. This one is a support for my gyroscope, so it's not for shooting. Next up, we have accessibility. Just copy everything the way it is here. And also yeah, audio compass, leave it on. This is gonna show you the direction at which someone shoots. So yeah, leave this on. And then show operator names in the game. Just turn this off. It just makes things clustered, so you do not want that. You know what guys, just copy everything here. I'm just gonna swipe through so you guys can just quickly copy every single thing that is here. Just copy exactly the same stuff, okay? Oh yeah, one important stuff is please turn this off. I was testing it and I forgot to turn it off, but it's just gonna keep vibrating your device. But anyway, one important thing is this show network status, okay? So if your ping is a little bit bad, it's gonna show you latency on the right side of your screen, and that way do not push enemies when it shows latency. It means that your ping is absolutely bad at that point, so it's warning you, do not push enemies. So just listen to it and do not push enemies, okay? As for audio, we have, yeah, I just set the music volume to the least because I don't like music in my game. I don't know, it just disturbs me, you know, so I just leave this off. And also yeah, just set enable ally and enemy status sound, turn this on, and voice chats, of course, turn this on. As for graphics, make sure you choose the highest your device supports. Right now Rainbow Six is locked at 60 FPS, which is really sad. I am using a Red Magic tablet, and as you can see on my screen, I literally support all the way to 144 FPS. I literally support all the way. You can see the FPS, but literally Rainbow Six has locked me up on 60 FPS, which was really sad. I hope in the future they bring more FPS, you know, or yeah, field of view. I maxed this out. I want to be seeing wide view in case someone is coming through a door at my corner. I can literally see it, so turn that on. If you have a bad device, please leave anti-aliasing off. It's just for smoother edges. You do not need it in this game. Bloom, turn it off. This is just gonna make light brighter, and you know, it's gonna make things glow in the game. You do not want this on. But I have a very strong device, and Rainbow Six is actually a pretty light game on my device. It doesn't even heat up at all. So yeah, I just leave this off. And then as for graphic style, leave this out. Cool. It really pops out enemies when they are hiding, you know. I don't know, it just looks so freaking good. So yeah, as for display blood, you can select green blood, sparks, any of this, but I liked red blood because yo, I'm an adult, you know. I'm not scared of red blood. So yeah, as for graphics quality, you can set this at slow. Trust me guys, Rainbow Six does not need high graphics, okay? It doesn't need high graphics, but my device supports it, so yeah, ultra it is. Alright guys, that is the best settings for aim and FPS in Rainbow Six Mobile. I hope this could really help you. Okay, also one bonus stuff is that when you go into operators, you can literally, please, for those who didn't know, you can literally set a loadout to make your gun more stable. You can literally change the loadouts. You could unlock more stops, and then as you can see, the stats are changing for each and every single one that I'm tapping on. So yeah, you can literally come over here and change your loadouts, which would really help your aim. Anyway, that is it for today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Fill my cup, do the choke, big black truck, then I ride out. Act like my rims ain't